If we could consciously control our golf swing, we should get to a point where we can say, I want to put the ball there, and the ball goes there. You don't go anywhere else. Yeah.
I just feel all over the shop. Don't have any feeling of where the club is. Don't feel like I can open up. On the way back?
Yeah, just throw it back and then leave him there. Like that. When you go and throw a ball and kick the ball, or whatever sporty movement you make, or movement in general, it's very low mental working capacity. You just see something and you move and you react. Beautiful. Yeah. Got all that power. Different feel.
I just feel all over the shop. Don't have any feeling of where the club is. Don't feel like I can open up. It's weird.
Left eye dominant. Right here.
Don't know.
Just do that. Make a little circle. And you, between your thumbs and your forefingers there.
Yeah.
And then look at me. On your right eye.
Yeah.
On your right eye. Okay.
So I don't know. It's strange.
Because right eye is still well in your field of view. You don't even need to move your head. You can still see it. With your left, it's outside of your field of view, so you'd have to rotate your head to look at it.
I know that
So it's interesting now. It's your right eye dominant, and you're still turning your head.
But
So
the difference in my golf swing as well, from like a 2D point of view, it's night and day. It's completely different. Like completely different. I don't know what it does. It does something to my wrists. It does something to the way I load up.
Well, you see, the thing is about your cervical spine is that it really influences the thoracic and your lumbar rotation. You've got a particular pattern. We've got loads of patterns, but these patterns are so malleable. Okay, there is so much plasticity to the system, hence neuroplasticity, that we are able to adapt, which is what you do in every other form of your life. As soon as you put that golf club down, you don't think about your movement and you adapt, and you don't think about your previous history when you're running, walking, playing other games, football. You just go and play the game. Every day in life and every game you play, like football and stuff, at a good level, okay, the thoughts come and go very quickly and you perform at a very high level. Golf is the same. Even though the ball's static, okay, we are in motion and our thoughts are continually running. So we're reacting to thoughts, and it's what affinity we have when we pick up that club now that matches that thought that we've got now running through our mind. If we could consciously control our golf swing, we should get to a point where we can say, I want to put the ball there and the ball goes there. We should get to a point where we can say, I want to put the ball there and the ball goes there. And it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's so many variables.
Exactly. So then why are we trying to overcome that and trying to fight against it as opposed to embrace it, which is the way that you do in every other sport? We've got to create new pathways, okay? When you experience something different with movement that you've not experienced before, you create a new pathway. You're still operating in such a very, very narrow bandwidth. The variability in the system that you're operating with isn't high enough for you to actually experience this change. So that means then your maps become shrunken. What we can do is we can start to get obsessed or think about process and think about, this is how I fire this pattern, okay? But there's that much variability in the system that we can recognise this and we can be like going through the thing, going through the process, and we can feel what we're doing, and it can even feel good, and you don't get the outcome you expect, and you think, that felt really good, or sometimes you'll know it doesn't straight away. But like when you were saying that the ball went right and your tendency is left, well, what's the body's response to don't go left? It's go right.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So no matter what happens, you get an autonomic response. Once the sympathetic system, that's the fight, flight, freeze, once that's excited, you're going to start getting autonomic responses, and they're movements that you won't recognise, and they're movements like you just go, where's that come from? Jesus. And you know why? Because you didn't want to go left, okay? But it's like, well, how do I not go left? That's what I'd want. That's where I'm interested in. Is why don't you want to go left? It boils down to, I'm going to move this way. It's not, I'm going to move this way because I don't want to do that, so I'm going to really focus on this because that prevents this. And suddenly now you've got that in your mind, as in you're triggering these responses because we're not fighting against anything in movement. We're not fighting anything. Okay, there is no conflict in the system. When you go and throw a ball and kick the ball, or whatever sporting movement you make, or movement in general, there's no conflict in the system. It's very low mental working capacity. You just see something and you move and you react. The more you explore, the more of an enriched map your body develops. You need to be challenging the system in all the other areas that you don't normally challenge it. Movement doesn't need language, movement just needs intention. So it's like, I need to go over there, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So, but what's it like if I go over there with my eyes closed? What's it like if I go over there and I've got to do it on one leg? Can I do it on one leg? Can I do it on two legs? Can I rotate on one leg? Can I rotate my head and not fall over? Okay. Then, can I move my eyes to one side and the other side? And do I feel like I'm losing my balance just by moving my eyes? What do you feel is challenging the system more? And where you feel challenged is where you need to go.
The ground floor's
That's a 5 iron, isn't it?
no, it's a 6.
So 6 iron. Right. There you go. It's a case of just listening to your body and letting it do what it wants to do, and challenging it to see if it can do anything more do it more efficiently. I just want to see how you can rotate, controlling your centre of mass. Okay, instead of moving your centre of mass to move pressure. If you stand on there and just let your arms relax, and then just get into a stance, and then we're not making a swing or anything. I just want you to turn as quickly as you can and look at that red dot behind you to your right, and just look up as quick as you can. So it's right behind you. So just turn around as quick as you can and look at it. As fast as you can, yeah.
What am I doing with my arms?
Nothing. Just let them do whatever they want. Yeah. And then hold it.
Hold it there?
Yeah. And hold it. As fast as you can. Yeah. But I want you to do it I want you to use the discs. Push from the disc to do it. Use the air pressure in the disc to push. So you're not pulling this, you're pushing from the ground to look up. Yeah. That's a different move. So straight to the right and hold it there, now look down. Cool. See how your right ankles wants to move. See what your right ankles wants to do there. Or that inversion.
Which I don't get in the CrossFit.
Okay.
I do like, I don't.
You can't. So you're here, and now just bring your lower body back to square, back down. But what your right ankle has to do is to move in. You see? Yeah. Okay.
My pressure stays.
So, and then for the power, now you can push off. So when your foot goes in, now you can push up. You don't have to do a lot here to shift the pressure. This is banging through rotation, not through horizontal movement. You're doing that, and your arms are swinging. You've got this arm adducting and internally rotating while this is doing this. So that's your 5.
There must be a reason why I've got a limitation on that somewhere.
So look, it can be anything. It can be it can be when you first picked up a golf club. Rotate and look around. That's it. Cool. So when you go into this hip hike and shift
into the heel.
Into the air.
Yeah, that's a bit different. The more I go into the heel,
Use frontal plane too much.
the more I feel it in my glutes.
Yes.
So the more I go into the toe, the more I feel it more towards my pocket, in my head.
When you rotate, your pressure's going this way, and you're going this way. Okay. But if your pressure's already there to start with, because you've done this,
There's no way you can get rid of it.
you're already there, and now you've not used much of the rotational, the transverse plane, so you're more frontal plane action. So you're going to be heavy frontal, and if you do want to go up, okay, you've got to go forward, you've got to use sagittal plane action, so now you've got to go this way.
Yeah, which I'm never going to do.
Well, you're not, but if you do, the club's here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's going to be really interesting is what you sense with your arms in relation to your body when you do this and get the depth. Okay. and the hike, what's going to be interesting what you feel with your arms in relation to your body. If you're not getting rotation from the hips, because you're moving more horizontally, you've got to get rotation from somewhere, which means you can go to your thoracic, you're going to go to your thoracic, but you're going to go initially from the start of the swing, you're going to go to your arms. Because you're not rotating from the body, here the arms don't have to do much. Okay? If that's moving this way, I'm not getting the rotation, I've got to do this. Okay, so that, but then if you're aware of that, now you start to somehow try and compensate for that, but now it's conscious. So you're kind of overriding, you're creating an adaptation for these forces by trying to put this into a place where you think it should be. Because remember, the whole system is tensioning. Like when you throw a ball, you don't interfere with any of the tensioning, but if I said, right, you've got to start over there and you've got to do this, suddenly now I am consciously creating this tensioning for that, and now the rest of the body's got to react to this tensioning.
Got to compensate to get that back to where you want to throw it.
But it can't use this the way it would want to. So now everything is a corrective measure from there. That's the issue with seeing something in your swing you don't particularly like and then trying to change that. The problem is you're not just changing that, you're changing everything. As soon as you start to have too much of this, then that's the issue. So most people don't have enough of what you're doing, and they have too much of this, and you're the opposite. So what we're going to do...
You've got too much.
An anomaly.
What we're going to do, you see, this is a great exercise here because you won't be able to do it otherwise. So I want you to twist, and then what you've got to do, you've got to bang the board and go up. So you're going to twist, go down, get ready, and then extend to bang the board. Okay. If you're over here, if you're not in the right, well, you'll find out. You won't
I'm going to fall over, aren't
you won't be able to move. You'll be stuck. You'll be stuck. So just rotate first to your right and extend. So it's like an up, and then you're going to go down first here, and then you're going to bang the board and go up. Yeah, you've got to get a really loud bang.
How am I going to do that?
So do it again. So forget any golf, forget holding a club. Turn back first and lift. Yeah, extend. Now flex and then bang as you go up. Better, and that was more horizontal. I want you to, let me show you. So go on that first, and then down up. Down, much more flexion. So you go up and down. Don't stop. And down up. Forget the upper body back. Just do this. Just do this. So you want to go down and up more. So down and up, down. So down and up. That's it, down. So you're thinking of a golf swing on the way back. Try not to think of a golf swing at the minute. Just twist. So just twist them first, stand upright. So no golf posture. Just twist the disc side to side. Perfect. What I want you to do now is, as you're doing that, at that pace, I want you to go down and up, down and up. So you go down and up, yeah, down and up, down and up. Much more brisk with the down and up. Yes, down. That's it. So really exaggerate down and up. Yeah, and again. But you've got to go down and up on the way back. So on the way back you've got to go, so there, down and up. Yeah, and now down and up again on the way back. Yes. Yes. There you go. Yeah, that's it, Joe.
Hard because it's like I'm starting a golf swing again, so it's like I'm going this way, turn then this way, then right I'll start golf, then I'll start again.
Exactly.
So I'm missing out.
That's the programming thing. That's how you've learned to move with the golf swing. Don't even think about your upper arm, side bend, nothing. Just think, just let these go. It's just all just down and up. It's lower body. Even look down at your lower body and just see what your knees are doing. So you're going to use that to bang the board, because that's what gives you horizontal. Notice how much twist you can get from the bang by extension. Okay? But you need to be in a place to be able to do it. Now just do some little swings doing it, little half swings.
Can't get the bang as loud.
No. So you've got to leave the club further behind you, and you've got to get the bang first, then the club swings. You're trying to get into your left side way too early. You don't get into your left side by moving into your left side. Going that way is a product. As I rotate that way and go up, you get movement to the left. You don't have to worry about moving to the left. Yeah. Got all that power. So you get a lot of horizontal movement without trying for horizontal. Very good. Different feel? When you go up and down and rotate those fists, that's what's banging the board. You're not banging the board by shifting your pressure side to side intentionally. It's by going up and down. It's by going up and down and letting your ankles work. Say there's one plane of motion, okay, that you're heavily dominant in. It's the other two you need to be working on. Now I want you to leave the arms behind you. You're just swinging them back and let them react to the forces of the feet. So as if you're leaving your arms really behind you, pivot as long as you can.
On the way back?
Yeah, just throw it back and then leave them there. Like that. Let them react to the forces from your feet on the way down. Yeah.
Nice.
So now can you feel the chain?
Yeah.
There's a chain from the ground all the way through the body and your arms. You know when you talk about passive arms? If you go for it, let's go for it.
It's like with that rope.
Yeah. But that's starting from here. Okay, we're starting from here. Bang. So you're feeling this first. Now just grab your driver. Have a couple of shots.
It's a ting with them balls, doesn't it?
Yeah. You don't need to go back and stay back to play the draw. You can just do what you just did. Now if you just let your arms react to your pivot a little bit more, so leave your arms behind you, which I know feels counter. There you go. Face a square up to your pivot with your pivot forces. Because if you put the tension in, you put inertia on the end of the system, it slows this rotation down and it stops that rotating as fast. So you can't let the club free wheel and draw. Your pivot wasn't far off at all. Let's just let the arms react to your pivot. Different feel?
Yeah.
Your pivot's been under so much tension, your release pattern has been under so much tension, you've not allowed it to react to these forces from the body. But maybe that's because you weren't completely confident of the forces you were creating. Because it didn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
But now you've got more rotation, you can let the arms switch off and that rotation comes from your body through to the club. It rotates. Like that. So all this transverse plane action is getting transferred through to the club because the arms are off, it's reacting to the pivot. That means, don't mean you're gripping it loose, that needs to be firm, because for your wrist to leverage. As soon as you start to put the tension in, so you see your left arm should adduct against your chest. This, you want to keep this behind you as long as you possibly can.
Yep.
So the mass is behind the pivot. But that's not held in place. That only stays behind because this is rotating. But if you were here, you couldn't rotate. Okay, whereas, so by doing this now, suddenly, easy.
But if I'm here and I try to rotate,
exactly.
It's not behind me.
And I think that's probably where your pull draw is coming from too. So
Pull hook.
Pull hook, yeah. So pull hook. So the thing is Now, so the right hip can, but you've got to have the whole system working with it. So your pressure doesn't need to move. Yours moves back far enough anyway because you stay in flexion and shifted, translated. So a lot more extension, a lot more transverse on the way back, and then leave the arms behind you. Beautiful.
Strike.
That's a nice flat flight, isn't it? Good. You can let that left arm compress against the chest, abduct against your chest as much as you like, because when you're here, this does not matter now because you're open, okay, and you're rotating. It's fine. This is where you want to be. You don't want the club out in front because it doesn't want to be there. It doesn't need to be there. That's going to put too much inertia. It's countering the pivot. That's awesome, Joe. That.
You do know I've got to collect them balls in the morning, don't you? So you could just go down to 3 wood, that'd be great.
That can go anywhere. That's the one.
Yeah, that's lovely, mate. Really
If
nice.
it's flight, when you do move, you press your forward first, going to your forward. As soon as you go forward, now you go straight back into your, go back, let the hip hike straight away. You don't go anywhere else. Yeah.
Back there, I reckon.
Do you understand what I meant?
Yeah.
So when you go that way, which is great, it sets everything up.
Yeah.
Instead of then using that momentum and going
Like that.
lateral,
Yeah.
you're going straight into your
Yeah.
rotation. Because then that little bit of frontal plane action, then you go transverse, so you rotate, and that gives you your lateral anyway. But what you've got now is you've got the rotation that's throwing the club, and you're reacting to that, so you counter it with your pivot, and now you can start to react to it. So to move for more draw, you've got two options. You can either manipulate your pivot, just go more like that, or you can just move around for a draw bit. That's the flying one, isn't it? I would guess.
Yeah, touch bottom, but yeah.
So that kind of, you're getting more now, transition.
Yeah, I can feel it in the right foot. It just feels like it's not as grounded.
So you can really just go deeper into that rotation.